Hi guys, so I'm going to do just a quick little how-to video on dry brushing. And what is dry brushing? Dry brushing is when you take a piece that looks like this and you want to apply some paint to it, but you don't want to cover it fully. You're going to dry brush it on, which just basically means you're taking the very littlest amount of paint and you're using a paintbrush to feather it on, to dry brush it on, and you can put it on as heavy or as light as you want, but you want what's underneath to show through. So we're going for a very rustic farmhouse look. These are going to be something where I'm making for a client. They are going to be a decoration that's going to be having a mason jar hanging from it on a hook. So she wants them dry brushed in a white, so I figured great video to show you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and tip the camera so we can get started. And today I'm going to be using the General Finishes Antique White. It's a great color for that antique farmhouse look. You can pretty much dry brush with any paint. Some work better than others, but I've dry brushed several times with this paint and it works great. So all you need for this project is your paint and a brush. Now I'm going to show you guys my brush and you're going to go, oh my gosh. But look at this brush. It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, I have the same exact brush that's all nice and intact. I use this for dry brushing and there's a reason, because it's all kind of fanned out and it's old. As you can tell, it's got so many layers of paint on it, but these are great brushes for dry brushing, because when you dry brush something, you don't want that perfect look. It is meant to be putting that paint and letting it kind of just sit on top and settle in the grooves, but then have some of that underneath show through. And so you don't want a real solid look. So this brush actually has become, I thought about throwing it out, and then I figured out that this is a great dry brush. And so, yeah, you can use any brush, but this just happens to work great for me. It gives me just that real wide. You can use a bigger brush if you want, or a smaller brush. There's no right or wrong for choosing a brush to dry brush. So I just happen to like this, but I wanted to mention it. So if you guys saw it and went, holy cow, that brush has seen better days. It has, but it now serves a new purpose. It's my dry brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna tip the camera down and show you guys how to do this. The only thing you really need to know or keep in mind is dry brushing. If you have a really heavy hand, maybe not gonna be as easy for you. So just remember, you're light as a feather, right? So that you're gonna do these really light brush strokes back and forth. You're not gonna be real heavy-handed. It is easier to put on more paint than it is to take off paint, so remember that when you're doing it. Okay, stay tuned, I'm gonna tip the camera and we're gonna get started. Okay, so we're ready to get started, and I lied, you actually need more than a paintbrush and the paint. You want a paper towel or a rag or something, because you're gonna watch me do this where I'm gonna dip my brush in the paint and then I might take some of it off, because sometimes it's hard to control what we put on and might get a little too much. So I've dipped it in my paint and I've gone ahead and taken a little bit of it, too much, but I've taken a little bit of it off. And so you can just kind of dab it. So see what I'm doing? I'm taking it with the grain of the wood, I'm dipping it each time, and then I'm kind of patting some of it off. And I start extremely light, because then what I do is I go back and I look at the project afterwards and I decide, do I want more? Sometimes, in this case it's for a client, I may show her the progress and then let her decide. Some people want a very heavy dry brush, some want just very light. But as you can see what I'm doing, it is not perfect. This is probably one of the easiest techniques. Like I said, if you have a heavy hand, it might be a little more challenging for you, but it is one of the easiest techniques that I have found since I started painting, and it's kind of a fun one, right? Because it is fun to not be perfect for once. Most of my pieces, I do have that very classic, clean, simple lines. I don't use a ton of finishes like wax and glazes. I do sometimes, but not a ton, and so there's not a lot of room for error or hiding anything. With the dry brush technique, literally, it's just kind of, it is what you want it to be. So, okay, we have been doing this video showing you for like, I don't know, a minute, and our result is awesome, right? So just want to show you guys how easy dry brushing is. Total preference, how much you want, how little you want, and when you're done, what I usually do is after I'm done and I've decided that this is the look that I like, and then I take a very fine sandpaper, a finishing sandpaper, like a 320 grit or 400, and I just give it a little sand over it, and it kind of tends to melt it in and blend it in. So anyway, that is it, you guys. Super duper simple. Easy, cheap, 3 things. Paper towel, which you all probably have, a brush of any kind, because look at this crazy dude, and paint. So give it a try, see if you like it. All right, thanks. Okay, so wasn't that totally simple? That literally took us less than 5 minutes from the time I opened the can of paint, got my brush, got my paper towel, gloved up, which literally in this case, I hardly got any paint on myself. Dry brushing is an awesome technique. It's super easy, anybody can do it. Start looking around your house, see if you got a piece that you can dry brush, because it's a fun technique and the end result looks really cool. I mean, I will check with the client on this one to see if they want more, but you do what you want, as little or as much as you like. So super easy, fun project for you guys to try at home. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to continue to get all of my videos and not miss a single one. Okay, you guys, thanks so much. Have a great one. Bye.